we'll go ahead and get started. So, thank you everyone for just taking your time, and my name is Mike Keel. I'm the, instructor leader for this course. I don't know if you know Joy Rice, she's the director of the Center for Global Education. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you're correct, yeah.
So,
Yes.
she is here to answer all sorts of questions that I probably can't. So, we're gonna kind of, well, I don't know, can I just start very briefly by just gathering some ideas of why you're interested in a study abroad experience in Greece? What are you looking for? That way I can tailor my presentation to really, meet what you want. Does anybody have an idea about that?
What drew you to today?
Why are you here? You want to study abroad? Is there something? Yeah. What's your name?
Francis.
Francis.
Both my friends told me I should come listen to this, and it seems really interesting because it's Greece and it's religion.
Okay. What's interesting about Greece?
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of the, it's like what led to Rome, and Rome led to Western civilization. So it's kind of like an important backbone to get into if you want to explore the foundations of where we came from and where we created the first almost religions, because I mean, Greek mythology was pretty rampant.
Right. Yeah, good. Do we have anybody interested in Greek myths or any Percy Jackson readers from when you were younger? Maybe that was before your age. Why are you smiling?
I read Percy Jackson.
You did?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They're good books. They're fun. Yeah. Anything else about Greece that you know or that intrigues you? Yeah, is it Emma? Yeah.
I'm a psychology and philosophy major, and so kind of the history of philosophy, or at least Western philosophy, is always kind of stemmed from Greece in particular.
Right, okay.
So just kind of, I know this is theology, but they kind of sometimes go hand in hand.
They do, absolutely. We like to joke that philosophy is the handmaiden of theology, but that a philosopher wouldn't like that idea. But yeah, no, that's right. Even those two words, psychology, philosophy, Greek words. So, if you've ever seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, sometimes I sound like the dad on that, trying to tell people what words come from Greek words. Anyway, thank you for being here. I'm very excited. And so I'm gonna kind of walk through just a little bit of the nuts and bolts of the itinerary, the details of where we'll go, kind of a little bit of what the syllabus probably will look like. And then a little bit about myself. And then we'll talk about some kind of nuts and bolts of things kind of from the, I don't know, institutional side that I know less about. So at any point, please ask a question or interrupt me or whatever. So we don't want to take too much of your time. So I just have a map here of Greece. This experience, first of all, I'm sure you know this is an embedded course. So what that means is we will meet mod C and D, basically the second half of the semester next fall. Right now we have that class slotted. Is it okay for me to release that information? For 8 a.m. on Tuesday, Thursday. And I know 8 a.m. is maybe not always the most popular, but we didn't want to schedule it at a time when there would be a lot of conflicts with other classes you might need to take. So that was our thinking there. And is it still kind of true that you tend to get more bennies in study abroad, or is that not necessarily true?
Yes and no.
Yeah, anyway, so it could be really on either campus. That's still kind of up in the air too, so. But that's the plan. So we meet mod C and D. And then we would travel shortly after Christmas. We'd be gone for a little over 2 weeks, just in the country of Greece. We will be located close to and working with an organization called College Year in Athens. They're going to help organize the logistics for the trip and things like that. So, and they also have a physical space there that we can utilize if we want to. Now, I don't think we'll utilize it a lot because almost all of what we're going to do is going to be on site. But they do have a space and some support services there for us while we're in the country. Little bit about me. So I have been to Greece 7 times, and I studied abroad in Greece when I was a undergraduate here at St. John's. So I'm a Johnny, graduated in 1998. It's a long time ago, and married a Betty. So I'm kind of a walking stereotype. And I spent, well, a long time. In 2000, my wife and I moved out to the East Coast, and I did my master's degree, my PhD, and then I taught at a university in Iowa for 17 years. And this is 2 years ago, I got this job to come back to St. John's and St. Ben's, which was sort of always the lifelong dream for my wife and me. So it's been an amazing time coming back. When I was at that other university, I led 3 study abroad courses in Greece. I think the first one was in 2013, 2016, and 2019. So I've also done this with students quite a bit, not here at St. Ben's and St. John's, but this experience is really modeled on what I've done there with students in the past. So I have, a lot of experience. This is more about me. I don't know what else you want to know. I did my master and PhD at Princeton Theological Seminary in New Jersey, and then taught at St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, before coming here. That's me showing off my selfie skills in the city of Corinth. So I look kind of young there. So I think that picture was from my first group of students, which was over 10 years ago. So my work here at St. John's is half with the undergraduates, and half of my teaching is we have a graduate school of theology. So half my teaching is with the graduate school and half is with the undergraduates. So a couple people here I've had in Theo 100. And I teach an upper level class of the Apocalypse called Apocalypse Mania, which I'm teaching right now, which has been kind of fun. So anything else you want to know about me that would be helpful? I think I can't overstate how much I love Greece. And to the point that I have a very good relationship with my wife, but sometimes she gets jealous of my relationship with the country of Greece. And so sometimes she'll go to Costco and I'll say, oh, remember to get feta cheese. And she magically forgets. And I think it's her passive aggressive way of telling me, I think too highly of Greece. So that's a joke. And I would say in almost 20 years as a professor, doing the study abroad thing has been the most meaningful thing that I've done. When you study abroad, you form bonds and friendships with each other. You get dropped into a place that's unfamiliar. And I'm there to help make sure you know what to do and where to go, but also to nudge you out on your own so that you feel empowered to embrace the culture and experience it and learn to, you'll never love it the way I do probably, but really learn to love it. So that's kind of what I do my role is being there for. The class is called Chiseling God, History, Culture, and Divinity in Ancient Greece. The course number is there, 4 credits. You will get your theological integrations as part of this. You maybe already know that. It's also the global part of it is there as well. And the only prerequisite is the Theo 100. So have you all had Theo 100? Or will have had it, I guess you could take it in the spring. So open to all majors and minors. If you are a theology major, there will be some things in here that may particularly appeal to you, but really the course is designed as it's designed to really meet everybody where they're at. And the kinds of questions we ask, I think will hopefully be invitational and very open-ended. And so for a theology major, you might want to go deep on something. For somebody else, you may approach it in a different way. So I think there's some latitude there for different people to hopefully find places in the coursework that they find interesting. So the idea for this course, when you think about the title of Chiseling God, it's very broad. When we go to Greece, we will see things that are from 10,000, 15,000 BC, like super old Stone Age artifacts, the very beginnings of human civilization, all the way to relatively modern examples of churches from the Greek Orthodox faith. So it's hard in 2 weeks to go and try to experience, 15,000 years of human history. It's a little bit overwhelming. And so the question at the center of the course is broad, but I think it helps us ask the same question at each location, which is basically, what is the connection between time and place and how people think about God? So in this time and place, based on where these people lived and what they were facing, how did that context shape their understanding of who God is and what God looks like and how God acts? And so we can ask those questions of ancient Greek mythology. We can ask them of Stone Age fertility goddesses. We can ask them of St. Paul when he was in Corinth. All sorts of different places, but we kind of ask similar questions in each place, and I think helps accumulate some various ideas of learning. So it's, like I said, not intended only for theology majors. And what I really want ultimately is for students to use their intercultural experience to reflect on who they think God is, how they think about the role of faith in their own life, and oftentimes studying other cultures and examples of how people practice their faith gives you some perspective on what it is that you think and believe. And so the final assignment for the course will basically be kind of a reflection paper, or even a series of journal entries that you'll write while we're there, where you're reflecting on these questions of meaning and truth and beauty, while being, probably almost overwhelmed by all of the truth and beauty that we're going to see as we visit archaeological sites and museums, etc. I have no idea if that sounded good or not, but the best I can do. The philosophy major was nodding, yeah. I want to just, I think I sort of already said this, but I want to make sure it's, the huge part of this is the on-site learning. So when we're in Greece, I have this picture here from a previous course. And the fun part about this is we can set all of this up because of our meetings during Mod C and D. You can do some research and some work on 2 or 3 things that we're going to see. And then when we get to a spot, I can say, okay, Julia, you're our expert on that grave stele. I don't know which one it is, but tell us about it, right? And so you will hopefully be excited to see it. You'll have done your prep work, and then you can have 10 minutes in the museum to tell us all about it. So that's kind of the idea of how I really want this to go. When we're in the museums, I'll take you around, or we may have guides in some of them, depending on what the Greek government lets us do. But I really want it to be student-led and directed, so that you're talking about and learning and presenting about things that have some sort of meaning and connection. That could be all sorts of different things. So another thing I've done when I've had students there in the past is every student is assigned a Greek god. So you could have Athena, and you could have Aphrodite, and and then when we get to a statue of Athena, because we'll see them all over, okay, we turn to our Athena expert. And I don't mean for that to sound intimidating, but and then you know stuff about what we're looking at and can help the whole class understand what it is we're looking at. So that's in Micah's perfect world, that's how it will go. Okay, so a few reasons to go to Greece if you didn't know these already. Amazing art and architecture. So I just have one example here. This is the temple to Poseidon on Cape Sunion, just outside of Athens. these places are often built in really dramatic locations. Hi, come on in. They're often built in really dramatic locations on top of mountains, next to the ocean. And they are stunning and beautiful and interesting and fascinating, and they give us really kind of specific on the ground insight into how people lived and how religion functioned in their lives. And it's really, can be really interesting. So we'll go to a lot of Greek temples. Which are with the Greece is beautiful. And so this is part of the experience. And there aren't a lot of places in the world where you have big mountains juxtaposed with the ocean. And so here you have that. And it's the physical beauty is part of what makes it fun and enjoyable to go there. And it is also part of this equation of understanding people's faith in the context of where they live. Greek hospitality and culture. The Greeks, they have this phrase called xenophilia, which means love of the stranger. And they are incredibly hospitable, kind, loving people. And they love to host you and feed you some more, and then feed you some more. And it's just really a beautiful thing. And so when I studied abroad in 1996, I'll never forget the first thing I wrote in my journal. I got home, I think it was our second night, and I'm not great at journaling. I didn't journal a lot, but the first thing I wrote, I love how long it takes to have dinner. And I just think about like our world today, especially in the US, like we're rushing, we eat fast, when do we sit down and linger over a dinner? And in fact, a lot of American tourists get mad because when you go to eat at a Greek restaurant, they do not bring you the bill until you ask for it. They will never ask you if you're done. And sometimes if you go on, look on restaurant reviews on Google or something, there'll be some dumb American who will say, they never brought us our bill. It's like, no, they don't. They never will. You could still be sitting there. Anyway, so it is to me, a life-changing experience, cultural experience. And my favorite thing often about these experiences is me sitting down with you, and you don't have to eat with the professor, that's fine. But we sit, then we talk about the things that we saw that day, we linger over them, we laugh. It's just it's a good time. Weird but dedicated professor. I don't know. My last course, the students had a competition who could take the funniest picture of me while I was teaching when we were there, and this was the winner. So I don't know what's going on in that picture, but I look confused, which may not be, out of the ordinary. So, but I really do, when we're there, I am all in on being there for you, helping you in whatever way you need. You may not need much, but when I'm there, so one example is every night I will say, and I will have a support person there with me too, so I would never do this alone. But we'll say, okay, at 7 p.m., whoever wants to eat with us can just meet us in the lobby, and we'll all go out and find a restaurant together that night. So you don't have to take advantage of that, but you can. So it's important for me to make sure that you all know that I'm not just there to get a free trip to Greece. I am there to really work hard to try to help you have the best experience you can. So amazing food. So this is some grilled calamari. You may not like seafood. There's lots of other things beyond seafood. If you have dietary restrictions, Greece is actually really good now about making sure those can all be met. So I had a gluten-free student on my last group, and they had no problems. So but yeah, the food is good. I can assure you of that. Maybe go swimming in January. Maybe. The water was cold, but it was like 70 degrees. So, I mean, the air temperature, not the water temperature, so. Any questions about any of that, the pictures or anything I said so far? What's your name?
Josie.
Josie, okay. A little bit about housing and accommodation. So we're gonna have, people will be staying in hotels, okay? So the hotels will have breakfast for us every morning. It'll probably be, is it usually double or triple occupancy in a room? Usually double? Usually double, okay. So you'll have a roommate. And the hotels will be, they'll be very nice. And again, the people at the hotels who run these hotels are, they're amazing. We do have one night where we're going to sleep on a boat. And then one in-country flight. So if I go back to this map. Most of our, did I have another map coming up? I can't remember, but anyway, most of our, when we land, we'll spend most of our time in Athens. I think I am stealing my thunder from later, but whatever. About the first week, we're in Athens, okay? And so we'll have a hotel there, and that'll be our home base. So you won't have to, you can unpack, we won't be on the move. We do take 2 day trips from Athens. One, we get on a boat in the morning, and our bus gets on the boat with us and goes to an island that's about an hour and a half boat ride away. We spend the day on the island, see some amazing stuff, eat some amazing pistachios. And then we take the boat back with the bus, and then the bus takes us back to the hotel at the end of the day. Okay, it's a great day. We also have another day trip from Athens to Delphi. And that is Delphi. Ancient Delphi, anyway. You can look at books when we're. And then we will fly, take an air flight, very short flight down to the island of Crete. Okay, very southern part of the Mediterranean. And there are 2 cities here, the city of Chania and the city of Heraklion. We'll best spend a night there and a night there. There's great archaeological stuff to see here. And then the day we leave Heraklion, that's when we get on a boat. And it's like, I mean, how many of you have been on a cruise? Only one of you? Okay, it's actually not really like a cruise, but it's it won't be water slides, there won't be performances. But it's not all you can drink. But you will have a room, a bedroom with a bathroom in it, okay? And it is an amazing cultural experience because the Greeks, they, all the way back to the ancient world, they were a seafaring people. And the Greeks are, they're on ships all the time. And so most of the people who take these ships do not pay for a cabin, and they just sleep on the floor. It's wild, it's fun. So we take that boat back to Athens overnight. And then we pick up a bus. In our last 4 or 5 days, we have a bus. And we stay in a city right around here called Athens. And from there, we go to Corinth and to Mycenae and to some other places like that. So that's kind of a little snapshot of the itinerary. So now this is, like I said, everything I just told you. So here is a picture of Delphi, that place that we'll go to, take a day trip there from Athens, famous temple to Apollo, the Delphic oracle who predicted the future through cryptic sayings. In Athens, this is a picture of the Acropolis from inside the Acropolis Museum, which is a museum that's been built in the last 15 years and really one of the world's great museums. And it's really cool because as you're touring the sculptures from the Acropolis, you are looking up at it right through the whole side of the museum is glass. It's really an amazing experience. And we'll go to the Agora, we'll go to the National Archaeological Museum, and a couple of other places while we're in Athens. And I should say too that we try to structure days, so I try to think of days in thirds, a morning, an afternoon, and an evening. And very rarely will you ever be like filled up all day. You will have some free time. And that's, I think, actually really important because you need to go out and explore, right? So so there'll be plenty of time, I think, for you to be on your own as well. This is the town of Hanya on the island of Crete. So when we fly down, this is where we will stay overnight in this city. And the city was built by the Venetians in the 1500s, 1400s. And so it almost feels a little bit like Venice. If you're looking at that, and you're like, that looks like Italy. It's not, it's, did you go down there?
No,
No, okay.
but that looks like that,
It does look like Venice, yeah, so, and it's,
but with mountains in the back.
but with mountains in the back, yeah, so it's a really, it's a beautiful city. In the city, there's a synagogue that was from the 1500s, and it was founded and refurbished by somebody who was one of my teachers when I was a student there. And he unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, but we'll visit that synagogue, and it's a very powerful experience. And then this is the city of Nafplion, which is in southern Greece. You can see that it's like a peninsula sticking out into the ocean. Beautiful, beautiful place as well. So let me pause there. And then you'll kind of take over the next part, but any questions about the course, the itinerary, the accommodations, anything like that? Emma, did I offend you?
No,
No, okay.
I just have an orchestra.
It's okay, no, saying, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you,
If
though.
you have any questions, let me know.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks. But yeah, wait, Allison?
Yeah,
Okay.
would you say that course while we're over there is relatively light?
Yeah, so that's again, the beauty of having mod C and D, we can do some work and some research and stuff. The last thing I want is to have you be in Greece, like reading a book in your hotel room. That would be stupid, right? So when we're there, you'll have to, why are you laughing? Do you like to read too much? You can read a book in your room if you want, that's your choice, but I'm not gonna read. Yeah, I want you out doing stuff. So there'll be some things to do. We'll have class discussions, you'll have some presentations and some other assignments, but those will be on site. They won't be, you're not gonna be typing out a paper or something, yeah. Good question. What else? Anything else? Okay, well, if something comes up, please speak up.
Feel free to interject at any time. And so I just wanted to kind of come in here and as Dr. Keel mentioned, really, I think what's exciting about the embedded model is that you do have this time on campus before you go to really dive deeper into the area that you're going to study and prepare. And so that when you're on site, that you can kind of start to be that expert. But I'm also excited for you guys to have that personal growth and that transformation that Study Abroad provides. And so I am excited that yes, you'll have some structured time, but that free time as well is also crucial for building skills for your success as well. So wrapping through all of this, for this program, what we have right now is going to be the tentative advertised program fee, and that would be this fee right here, so for your fall semester, what would happen, since you're gonna stay on campus all semester, all of your tuition, your meal plan, your housing, all that will stay the same. And on your fall bill, when you get billed in July, would get added this fee right here. The other beauty about this being a fall semester course is your aid package will be adjusted for this program as well. So all of your aid will follow you. Doesn't usually mean magically you get more grants or things, but it has the ability to expand your package to include this. So this would be what you pay St. Ben St. John's, and however you normally pay that bill, however you normally make that payment with student accounts can work out for that piece. We do have the offering of different scholarships through our office, the St. Ben St. John's Global. If you do get a Pell Grant, I would say that Gilman would be one to also qualify for. It is national, but we typically get 2 to 3 students that get that. If you have other questions about scholarships, feel free to connect with us on that piece. And so here would be the other out-of-pocket experiences for this program. And so for every single one of our programs, we have insurance built in, and so that's built into the program fee. Obviously, housing. So as Dr. Keel mentioned, there is always gonna be breakfast included and then a couple dinners as well. So we do have you budget a little bit for food, and then the airfare is not included in the program fee. And so this would be an airfare. We will have, if you want to fly with the director, we'll have him book his flight first. And he'll send out the itinerary and you can happy to join that itinerary. But also there are times people decide to pre or post travel. And those are pieces that are fine as long as you arrive during like the window we say. We ask all students to have some sort of cell phone with a data plan that works, so that we can always get a hold of you. And then just personal spending money, this can waiver depending on the student. And so that's, if you add all of that up, that's kind of that gap. So as you're kind of approaching, however you want to make that payment for this program, connecting to whoever you need to, for thinking through how this may work for your finances, may that be support system back home with family, may that be financial aid. This is a good slide to really work through and figure out that. It is also, if you go back to our website at CSB+SJU Global, there is a cost and finances that also links here too. Questions? I threw a lot of money things at you. Okay.
I would just say, I will work hard to help you, find especially cheap lunches. So I like to eat lunch in the market. Buy a loaf of bread and some meat and cheese and it's like $3 or €1 is $3. So
Yeah.
And then I can help you too at dinner time, you know, so
Yeah, even though you are on the euro, what I've also found with Greece is the euro seems to go further, meaning like Micah mentioned, your money will still be, you can have a great meal for under $5. Also, depending on, you also can, you know, especially that first 6 days, maybe if you don't want to eat out every day, you can go into the local grocery store and grab some grab and go things too. So there's lots of ways to save tips and tricks around the money side. And so, and ultimately during your free time, it's not like you have it overnight. And so truly for, you know, all the things that Micah mentioned as a part of the itinerary, that would all be included in that program fee as well, so. Okay, so the application, it is now open. So if you go to the global portal, search up Greece, be sure to, we have obviously our semester Greece program as well, so make sure it says fall embedded behind it. Click on that to apply. And then truly, the pieces that we're looking for will be thinking through the GPA requirement. We do say that all of our students do need to have a minimum of 2.5 in order to participate on our study abroad. We do allow on a case-by-case basis for students below that, but typically 2.5 is the minimum because we want to make sure students have success on site here before having success on study abroad. There will be an essay that is a part of this application. It really is, what are going to be your personal, academic, and professional goals for this program? What is it about this particular embedded program over all the other ones that we're offering, or over the semester programs we're offering? What is it about this particular program that you're hoping that will fit into academically, personally, and then professionally? Where do you think you're gonna do some skill building? What do you think you're gonna learn about yourself? What do you think this may not connect completely to your physics, but what are skills that maybe, and communicate, working with others on teams? These are also great skills with any position that you'll have, right? So thinking through that is the essay there. The resume, this is just a snapshot of your life. We all know you're complete people. So this may feel that, you know, what are things that you, for positions, what have you worked on campus? Maybe do you do orchestra here? That resume can be a nice picture for Micah as he's reviewing applications, but we also see this as one of those professional development for success. At some point, you're gonna be applying for internships or maybe your future jobs. And so this is also just kind of professionalizing this process as well. So putting a resume, if you need help updating your resume, in XPD, they're happy to help there through handshake, making an appointment there. The other thing we do review, we do get the conduct reports from both St. Ben's and St. John's. And so if students have or have been or are on or have been on disciplinary probation, then that is something that unfortunately is not going to be possible for your study abroad experience. If there is an option for you maybe have some past history, but it's been resolved. Again, it's a case by case basis where that has been allowed for the application pieces. So it's really pretty straightforward. There's really the one big essay. If there's anything else you would want us to know, so say there are things you're working on in regards to maybe GPA or maybe around conduct, there is another open-ended essay that you could share in that piece too. So really 2 big essays and then some demographic information. And then the other thing for a complete application would be, maybe this is the future slide for myself. Yes. Would be making sure you get everything in by the deadline. And so there isn't any like any initiative to get it before, but you do make sure you have to get all the parts in by Tuesday, February 3rd at noon. This is where if you are coming to us at 3 p.m., we may not allow you to have your application in if it's after this deadline. The last part, so it's that online application, and then the last part for your application would be there is a $200 application fee that is linked right in the application, and that is what you'd have to pay as well in order for it to be considered a complete application. So if you have any again questions, you can for sure schedule a meeting with a study abroad mentor to work out maybe the application or those kind of things. If you haven't already created your traveler profile in the global portal, working through that financial plan, all those kind of things. So you do get notified of acceptance on or before Tuesday the 17th, because the thing that happens, because this is one of your 4 classes for your fall semester, is we ultimately will register you. And so as of right now, it is going to be an 8 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday class. If anything changes, we will also let you know. And so because we also know sometimes it's because of a class conflict. If it's a huge, so that's kind of the pieces that we have worked in at this stage. So those are kind of next steps from my standpoint. Questions? Anything else to add? If you do start your app, we haven't moved enough, so we're now, there we go. If you do start your app, our office is you can enter it yourself into a drawing that we are giving away 1 free app fee. Literally all you have to do is start your application for your chosen program. And that is all you need to do for your chance to enter and get your app fee waived. So that's why we're encouraging students to really think about what program works best for them now. Maybe have connections. That's why we're also doing all these info sessions before Thanksgiving. So you really can dive deeper and think of which program might be the best fit and start that application on that side.
Piece of advice, don't have your essay be about how you want to go to Greece so you can buy fun souvenirs. Because I have read that before. Not a good idea.
Yeah. Or the other thing is like, I want to go to Greece. My sister went to Greece. I love that. I love that your sister obviously said enough great things about Greece that you also want to go. But what is it about her experience that you really want to share? And what it is like that you've now learned about Greece that makes you excited for this particular place, right? And so since we have programs all across the world, really think about what it is about Greece in particular, or what it is about this theology course that makes you excited to learn more, right? And so it might do some digging. Some of it is like, I'm really excited to maybe go swimming in January. That can totally be one of the personal goals. But at the same time, like what it is about, like, we have other programs where you can maybe swim in January, so we're again. Narrowing down what it is about escaping Minnesota winters, other than that you're excited for to dive deeper into this area of theology. And really think through of like what you're excited to learn, so maybe it is like, you know, he threw a lot of Greek words at you, like Googling some of those, what does that mean to me? Like, I remember my Percy Jackson books, but like, let me get my Greek mythology out and kind of make it personal to you and connect there.
It can be also, you know, it can be cold in Greece in the winter too, so, which is important for you to know. And sometimes a little rainy, but the beauty of going there in January, and I've been there 4 times in January, is there are hardly any tourists. So when we go to some of these archaeological sites, we might be the only people there. And that is I mean, it is amazing, because you just sort of have the place to yourself, you're not fighting crowds. It really helps facilitate the kind of learning that I hope we do, so.